serious, what is your most terrifying, we need to leave now, random rush of fear you've felt? For no good reason whatsoever. Me and a friend were running around some farmer's cornfield one night. We both clearly heard the CHK of a shotgun, aka the international sound of "you in a whole heap of trouble." We both ran until we got home and never looked back. I suspect he was just scaring us. It worked. Was at a rest stop in upstate New York near Troy around midnight. This was before cell phones and GPSing. We stopped to use the payphone to find a hotel for the night. On the way back to the car, a couple of random guys approached us from behind asking for directions. I told my wife to get in the car when I noticed two other guys coming towards the car from the opposite direction. I hopped in the car and drove away before anything else happened. Might have just been me being overly cautious, but I swear I avoided a mugging, or worse, by the skin of my teeth. Oh God, you had me at Troy around my night. That is one depressing city. I remember visiting our PI and driving down a street of dilapidated houses, and everyone was just sitting out on their porch, staring at me like I was an alien. I was at a party my freshman year of college, and some seedy people were present. The night was getting very tense, but no fights or anything happened. As the night went on, it became very clear to me something was going to happen. I told my friend it was time to leave. No more than 5 minutes after we left, someone was stabbed and the stabber was shot. WTF, where did you go to college? I was at a house party, and the people hosting were aggressively telling people to have a good time and go to the basement, like with a scary tone and a smile. Most of my friends left right away, and the one person who wanted to stay ended up getting mugged. The hosts. Seems like that'd be relatively easy to report? This is a pretty common setup. The hosts lure people over for parties and have a friend rob them. The police question them and they simply deny knowing the mugger, saying that the party was open invitation to all friends and acquaintances, so they don't have a specific knowledge or remembrance of the mugger. While in college, I was at a house party. I had gotten pretty drunk and was passed out on the couch. My buddies ran in to wake me and get me out of the house in a hurry. One of the other guys at the party got into a fight with someone, then ran to his car and got a shotgun from the trunk. He started running after the guy who had fought him. I didn't see any of this, but that was the fastest we ever left anywhere. I was at a national park on vacation. The layout was kinda like a crater with a rim you can walk under almost all the way around. Had this major gut feeling of not going down there. Later that day, a lady was killed from kids throwing large rocks, tree branches into the opening. Edit. State park, not national park. Was this in Hocking Hills? Cause that happened earlier this year. I was there that day too. Decided to go to Ash Cave instead of Old Man's Cave. Saw ambulances and fire trucks speeding past and wondered where they were going. Same thing happened to my wife and I at Hocking Hills last winter. Bunch of kids and their parents were throwing rocks at the giant icicles that were over some of the paths. Noped the fuck out of there. It is why I hate seeing Hocking Hills hit the front page. Means more assholes are going to show up. September 19th, 1985, a huge earthquake hit Mexico City. Hundreds of buildings collapsed, and at least 10,000 people died. Every year, the earthquake is commemorated. In 2017, 2 hours after the commemoration, I was outside a classroom with some friends, waiting for our teacher. I saw one of my friends was uneasy, and she asked me to go to a small store outside the building with her. I could notice she didn't actually want to buy anything. She just wanted to get out of the building. We were just beginning to walk to the stairs when the earthquake sirens began to sound and the building began to move. The building we were at suffered little damage, just a couple of broken windows. but many other buildings in other parts of the city collapsed and more than 200 people died. When me and two of my cousins went camping with our family, probably about 8 to 9 years old, we stayed in a campground that had a playground near our spot. We would often go, just the three of us, to play and go back to our camper when it started to get dark because it wasn't too far. But one day we were playing and we weren't the only kids there, but this man, 40s, came up to us with a dog and started talking to my cousins, and they were very trusting. He kept asking them if they wanted hot dogs or cookies and where they were from, and telling us that his camper was just over there if we wanted snacks. This guy gave me a super weird vibe immediately, so I looked at my cousins after being quiet the whole time and said, "I think I hear Grandma yelling for us. Dinner is probably ready," and they argued and were confused, but after I gave them that look, they just shrugged and listened to me. That guy gave me the heebie-jeebies, and we never saw him again after that day. Years ago, my BF owned a truck tire repair company. He stopped by a customer's house unannounced one day to try to get a check, as they owed a lot of money. When he came out of the house, he was pretty shaken up. He explained the man's numerous other brothers were there. Unusual. Everyone was very jittery, but they cut him a check and then rushed him out. He had a scary feeling that day. 2 days later, that customer and his brothers were arrested for a murder that they had committed the night before we stopped by, taking pictures of a family who wanted a fall photo shoot in a field. Here's something. Look behind me, and a huge bull is pawing the ground. And when I make eye contact, it starts running towards us. I see that there is a fence between us, so I'm not as fast as I could be, shooing the family to the car until the bull gets to the fence and immediately turns away from us to run along it. I then notice that the fence ends halfway up the field, and that bull is mad and running pretty fast. That adrenaline rush was for real. I was walking in my old local park with my sister. We entered the IT at about 3 p.m. and were hanging around until at about 9 to 9:30 we saw 3 people, all wearing somewhat similar outfits, all the way on the other side of the park. I immediately noticed, but don't think much of it. We walked for about 2 more minutes and I noticed one of them stopped and was staring at us. I immediately had a bad feeling and told my sister we should leave. She noticed and obliged. Later that night there was word of a stabbing in the park, and the suspects were all the people we saw in the group of 3. It was about 2 a.m. in our apartment on the top floor 3, and we woke up to the fire alarm going off. It was late and we just woke up, and we've kind of been conditioned to feel like fire alarms aren't actually real. And then I saw smoke billowing on from under the door. It was fucking terrifying, worrying about what was outside that door, and running down the stairs while it burned our lungs and eyes, and we could barely see. Was an unforgettable, terrifying experience. I will remember this and try to take fire alarms more seriously. House fires are fucking terrifying. About 5 years ago I fell asleep on the couch and woke up to an inferno on my front porch. Lost a lot of my hair and beard on the left side of my face getting out the back door because I had to get so close. Luckily my wife and roommate got out, but we only got 2 of the 3 dogs out. I'm very sorry about your dog. That's awful. My first and last college party. Me and 3 of my best friends arrived late at a packed frat house, and the instant we walked in, a group of guys gave us the most unsettling and angry stare. My friends discarded it as an intimidation thing, but my body instantly went to fight or flight mode. It took my friends some convincing, and I'm sure I looked like a lunatic trying to get them to leave with me, but they eventually agreed. We would later find out that 3 women were raped that same night at that same party. Forever ruined college parties for me. That's horrible. I'm so glad they listened to you. Was once at summer camp and was walking to the beach. It's like a 5-minute walk from the cabins we were staying in. and the path to get there is made of sand and surrounded by trees. We were supposed to go in partners, but mine dipped. Anyways, I was walking for probably about 2 minutes and I hear leaves crunching in the trees beside me. So I look over and what I see is none other than a brown bear cub lugging a tree. I think that everyone knows that where there's a cub, there's a mama. This bear starts making bear noises. I just about shat my pants and bolted out of there. Eddie. Thank you for my first silver kind stranger. Never in my 14 age of redditing have I been shown such kindness.
Subscribe for more hot Reddit takes in your inbox.